lots of, again, so-called minorities, there's nothing minor about our existence. A lot of minorities are stepping up and we're like, we ain't victims. These people hate, what's the word, armored black women who are armored with Jesus. They hate anybody who might just, put them in their place. Good evening. It is me again. I left the house and there's a guy in a supercar right now driving very slowly past me. He wants to be seen so bad. And I had an espresso macchiato from Italy. And something about that really nasty small beverage made me feel super motivated to talk about some topics that I should have mentioned in my last video. Which, by the way, thank you for the overwhelming positivity because, again, I love this channel so much. I love that I did it. I love that I took the leap to just start over because, as you can imagine, someone else said this too, where you're kind of like divorcing your stable source of income when you start something new. And, I mean, of course, my other channel's still there. I'm still going to be posting on it, duh. But, I mean, it's not my priority anymore. And like I said, YouTube is no longer my full-time job. I decided that. And I'm going back to flight school. Whoa, because I think I'd make a great flight instructor. Okay, so what I forgot to mention in the last video is this. Write this down, class. Los Angeles is racist. Yes, it is. Every single liberal city I've lived in has had a very negative impact on my self-esteem and mental health. Oh my goodness, why is that? Well, again, I'm from these parts. Okay, not literally in the little canal here. That'd be weird. I am a West Side native, which, by the way, I fully acknowledge that California is going to come with a set of problems and personalities and things that you run into. I think her name was Blair. Hey, Blair. Left a comment saying, like, what are you guys talking about? She's from here. She just said that you have to experience something, try it, and then you like that saying, you mess around, find out, whatever. I never actually tried acting before. I never have, ever. I got sent on a couple of castings a couple years ago, but I came here to try it out. Haven't you ever tried something? Then you realize that doesn't work for me. Like, I can't play piano. I'm just way too scatterbrained for that. Great brass player, though. Anyway, thanks, Blair, for stating what I thought was the obvious. But like I said in one of my other videos on my other channel, people go out of their way to misunderstand you. Okay, so in my other video, I left a pinned comment, and I said, here's a list of things that happened to me since I came to LA that have given me, the reason to leave. But in that pinned comment, I said, here's a list of things that are crazy that happened to me since I came here in such a short time. And one of those is that I said a blue-haired girl got into it with me. And I'm not judging her because of the blue hair. I'm just saying there's a certain character, you see them, you're like, oh, I know where this is going. And all I can tell you guys, again, you may not understand this, you might, I don't know, but just hear me out. These people hate, what's the word, armored black women who are armored with Jesus, or literally an armed black woman, okay? They hate anybody who's a minority and just doesn't act like, a sheep, essentially. They hate anybody who might just, put them in their place. So this is what happened. She sees me, I'm in Silver Lake, which is already a bad idea, but I like the food over there. It's a great spot. They have some good coffee shops, but I'm over there and this girl's looking at me and I'm looking at her. She's looking at me, she's gonna say something. So I'm like, maybe you should watch my channel. I don't know. She goes, I just want to say you're like really pretty. I said, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. She goes, yeah, you're like a super pretty black girl. I'm obsessed. Super pretty black girl. Class, these people can't help but say dumb stuff. They can't help but be racist. I have lived in California in this exact bubble for 20 years, okay? I lived in Texas, in different parts of Texas. Oh, also in the military, I forgot about that. I've lived in Texas for non-consecutive 3 years. And I was in Florida for 1 year and 7 months, okay? And then I bopped around the South for a bit. So the point is that I've lived the majority of my life in California. If I had a nickel for every time a microaggression happened, I could buy one of these houses here. I could. I'm not joking. I could put down a down payment. I don't know how much these are these days, but that's how bad it is. There was a girl, I'll never forget. And actually, it was so bad that other people actually noticed that it was bad. That's when you know it's bad. If other people who normally don't clock weird stuff, I'm in a math class. Again, for some reason I didn't do well in math in high school, then I just got good at it. So I was in a different math class, I guess. I don't know. The point is that some of these people will look at you like, how dare she take up the space? How dare this black girl be in the same room as me? How dare you be at this, I don't know, let's say country club? Wow, why are you in Chanel? That's happened to me before here in California. How they don't say it, but you just know. Wow. They don't like you in their space because I'm not supposed to. They're supposed to be there their whole lives. But unfortunately for them, lots of, again, so-called minorities, there's something minor about our existence. A lot of minorities are stepping up and we're like, we ain't victims, leave us alone, shut up. We're educated. Oh my goodness, we're smart. We can make our own decisions. We all don't think this way, okay? Whatever. The point is that this chick said this to me, and you know what I responded with? Because I usually just kind of get uncomfortable when people say stupid stuff to me. I just kind of try to evade the situation, but I'm like, you know what? I have time. I said, what a strange thing to say. And just held eye contact. And that's something that's kind of hard for me. Even if you notice when I film, I always look to the left or look to the right. I'm becoming a lot more confident with just saying no. No, just saying no. I said, what a strange thing to say. She goes, wait, why? She goes, well, statistically speaking, they love to try to talk down to me. They love to try to be like, well, technically. She goes, well, statistically speaking, people have always seen black women as unattractive as well as Asian men, according to the study that was done by Bumble. So you see how she's already coming at me from this angle of, because I feel sorry for you, because stats, because science said this. Why would you say, what person in the right mind is like, let me go up to a person and say, have you ever gone up to a woman and be like, you're pretty for a white woman, you're pretty for an Asian girl? Like, no one says that. It's just weird. Anyway, it's the guilt. It's the guilt where I think in her mind, this has happened to me, I don't know how many times. I actually don't know. It's over 100, less than 300 times, or someone has said something like this to me. Such a pretty black girl. You're so different. Like, you're the prettiest black girl I know. They're already putting you in a category of, you're not a woman, you're a black woman. Like I said in the other video, they see you as not a woman first. You're beneath me. You're not in the same league, even though I'm way hotter than this girl. Doesn't matter. The point of the story is that this is a microaggression. If you don't know what that is, that's what it is. It's very indirect. But then it's like, oh, no, I'm here to help you. I'm like, no, we don't want your help. Trust me. On behalf of black Americans who are actually chill and normal, and we're just minding our business, going about our day, we don't care. We don't want your help. We just want to fit in with society and just exist. Hold on. I'm going to pause and get a thumbnail pic in case my other ones didn't work out. The sun looks great right now. I just moved to a quieter location. This is so much better. I love filming outside now. Plus, my little chicken nugget sized, I'm not even going to say how much it is, studio, it just is really dim. I don't get good lighting, but I'm on the beach. So you see how it's kind of a trade-off? All right, while the sun is still shining, I'll try to quickly hit 2 more talking points here. But I guess, the outsiders, the people who come to this channel to be haters because they hate on women who have high standards and say stuff like, I want a godly man, whatever. The incels who leave comments like this, they don't get it. But believe it or not, you can live in Los Angeles, you can live in Miami, you can live in New York City or any major city for that matter and want a Christian man. You can be a church girl. Guys, I was a church girl in Miami. I said this 5 million times. There's a Christ Fellowship. Christ Fellowship is the name of the church that I attended. You can live in a big city and, be Christian. You can be Adriana Lima, the supermodel who's stunning, gorgeous, absolute, sex bomb, sex kitten. She is rigid, religious, and she waited until marriage. But people don't believe that. And in fact, it angers people for some reason. Again, it's kind of like, how dare you be in this space? She's this beautiful Victoria's Secret model oozing sexuality, but then she's actually religious, but she's naturally beautiful. So I'm not comparing myself to Adriana Lima. That's funny. Hold on. But I'm just saying, it's the same kind of thing where it's like, she's a VS model, runway star, in what would be considered like a worldly profession because she's making money off of her looks and everything, and she is definitely very wealthy. But the way that she talks, you could tell that she's a genuine person. It's just not so black and white for most of us, Like I said, people like to come at me and be like, well, creative and Christian is an oxymoron because technically you can't really do both. I'm like, you can, but in my case, clearly I've chosen to just mind my business and be creative in a different way because unfortunately Hollywood has become, in fact, Hollyweird. We're way past the point of return. I think real television died off in maybe 2010 after Desperate Housewives. Desperate Housewives was probably the best piece of TV writing I've seen in a long time. Rex cries when he ejaculates. And they had such a diverse cast going on. I mean, with the characters at least. Brie was obviously the rigid Presbyterian woman with her rigid values. And then there was Lynette, who's just the boss babe, and her and Tom are struggling. And then there's Gabby with her shopping addiction. And, it's just funny. But that show perfectly hit every single point I'm talking about. And they were totally happy to put on a character like Brie, who I would argue is kind of the main character of all the characters there. Also, I think the show was written possibly by a Christian man, if I'm not wrong. But they would never do that today. They would never have a main character be, gun-toting conservative Brie, who's beautiful and she has her flaws and everything. No, they don't want that. I was watching the show Scandal. I was really trying to get through it, and it was just such an awkward pilot episode where Scandal is a good show. It's very good. But I mean, the guy was like a decorated war vet or something, and turns out he was gay or in the closet, and they made him seem like he was such a hateful type of Christian, like, I can't be gay. I'm like, no, people, not all of us think that way. We're not all like, oh, you're going to hell if you're gay. It's just weird. It's like they were so quick. And then the redhead character said something like, oh, I'm not defending him because he's Christian or something like that. I forgot what she said, but it was just so cringy hearing this because it's clear that the writer, it has a bias. And that's Hollywood today. So that's why I'm saying I have no business being here. Once upon a time you could, but you just can't anymore. I am praying for clarity, and every day the message is becoming even more clear, and it's saying to just not pursue this LA thing. You can live and peacefully exist in other parts of the world. This is just not it. And breaking up with my own hometown is the hardest thing because it will always be near and dear to me. And I don't know why people are pretending like you don't miss your hometown. Unless your hometown sucks, then I get it. Goodbye.